It happened again. Another building went missing in the middle of the night. 1 minute it's here, the next it's gone. Last night it was my buddy's daughter who went missing along with her entire apartment building. They'd come over that very day to shoot the shit over a couple of beers. She'd asked about apartment 426, and since it happened so close to her, I told her everything I knew about it. Understandably, I think what I told her really freaked her out. And I tried to change the subject, but she and her dad, they left not long after. That very night, while I was getting ready for bed, my old police chief called me. He knew I was close with her dad, so he figured he'd call me, let me know what happened. He asked if I wanted to be a part of the search. I agreed. I was there when they interviewed the neighbors in the surrounding area. They all reported the same thing. A dense fog rolled in, and the ground shook violently, like the most violent earthquake they'd ever felt, followed by a deafening horn like that of a train, and then nothing. Everything went back to normal, and the world fell silent again, except once more an entire building had gone missing in mere moments. Everyone inside disappearing with it. And so we began the search. In much the same way as when building 426 went missing, this time it wasn't long before something was found. 2 hikers had called and reported seeing a building deep in the woods, just off an established trail. So we went looking. We found it. There it was. Its address is on full display, apartment 451. Nearly around 100 kilometers away from where it had stood. It had been a 10-story building, but only the first 2 floors were currently there. I was one of the first to go in, and the second I did, I could tell something was wrong. I mean, nothing so far had given me any doubt as to what I was doing. It had all been so procedural. But the second I stepped in there, the hair on my arm stood on end. Something about the place was completely off, something more than I was seeing. It was like every nerve in my body was telling me to get out. The first thing that hit me was the smell, like hot copper. The air was thick, heavy, almost kind of muggy, hot and humid. Despite it being midwinter and snow covered every inch outside. The floor plan was all wrong. I mean, doorways leading to nothing but brick walls and hallways that just ended abruptly. Trees were growing through the walls and ceiling like they just phased through everything. I opened one of the doors and it led outside despite being a normal room door with a number. There was an elk there, standing still, completely frozen. Had this look of pure terror on his face. But it wasn't looking at me. It was looking past me, like it could see something behind me. Something I couldn't see. Another officer called out to me, and in the brief moment when I looked away, the elk disappeared. And I don't just mean walked away. The tracks walked up to the doorframe and just they ended there. Everything went to shit after I went to the second floor. I wish I hadn't gone up. I really wish I hadn't. When I went up, it had no roof. The walls ended slightly above my head. I heard crows above me, and I looked up into the trees that had gone through the building. God. You were all up there, over 100 of them, up in the branches, writhing, moaning in pain. Every tenant of apartment 451 was up there, alive, suffering. Some look as though their skin had been peeled from their flesh. Most of them were missing limbs, pieces of their bodies, all ending in straight edges, as though they'd been cut off in one straight motion. I saw her up there too. What was left of her. She'd been cut cleanly in half, just above the hips. Her guts dangling down. Crows were pecking at them. I called her name, but she turned her eyes to meet mine as she mouthed for me to help her. I took a step back and my foot sank into something soft. I looked down to see a man half sunken into the floorboards, his skin translucent. It reminded me of that other one that we'd found encased in stone. He screamed and they joined him, screaming in this deafening unison. And it got foggy out of nowhere, just appeared at its seconds. I couldn't see 5 feet in front of me. That's when the building began to shake violently. It nearly threw me to the ground, but I caught myself. I knew what it all meant, so I headed for the exit as fast as I could. I got called out to the others to hurry, to get out. And as I exited behind one of my coworkers, my foot snagged on the door frame. I fell hard, knocking the wind straight out of me, but the worst part was that blaring horn. It felt like someone was holding a train horn right next to my ear. I held my hands to my ears. Just as soon as it started, it fell silent again. When I rolled over onto my back, the building vanished once more, and my foot that had been caught in the doorframe, it was gone. Didn't bleed, didn't hurt. My leg just ended in a straight edge right above my ankle. I looked around. I noticed that only the officer who'd exited before me remained. The other three, they hadn't made it in time. I knew them well. They'd had families. They'd been good men. They didn't deserve to never see their children grow up, never to grow old. Look back at all they'd accomplished. He took me to the hospital. They couldn't explain it any more than we could. He wasn't cauterized. It was just an open wound, yet didn't bleed. I found her post. I'm writing this in her honor. She was right. People need to know. My apartment 451 wasn't the first. And I doubt that it'll be the last. Hey there kids, it's me, MrCreepyPasta, and before we say goodnight, I just wanted to say thank you so much for watching tonight's video, or for listening to tonight's episode of the podcast. As always, I want to give a very big thank you to everybody who supports me on Patreon, patreon.com/MrCreepyPasta. That is the main place you guys are able to support me, if you guys want to be able to support me, which you absolutely don't have to do, but hey, thank you for, doing that, if that's something that you do. And if it's not something that you do, hey, please help me. In all seriousness, I really appreciate it if you guys could be able to help me out. If you guys are able to give anything, even $1 a month. And especially if you guys like, you can become one of these wonderful people whose names I mispronounce. People such as Diana Kraus, AcidSystem, Benjamin 2003, Blake Rattler, Bottle Coolant, Brandon Mendoza, Caltuna, CoryxKenshin, Dakota Best, Daniel Poulsen, Dante Kinkade, Enchanted Buns, Eric Anthony Caruso, Estebean, 15 Squirrels in a Trench Coat, Galaxy Gremlin, Hayes Nephew, himbojerry, Our Minute Second Time, Jay Kearns, Jedis Pet, Lou Cypher, Nick MC, Plant Piss, Red Shadowcat, Remember the Sun, Salty Surprise, Samara Lynn, Scary Stories Fuel Me 32, Seclude, Simba's Bloody Mojo, Sky Harbor, Smiley the Psychotic, Sully Man, Polly Sue, Team Leo 76, The Chavez Brothers, The Ginger Bros, Tommy Walters, Viceroy Scorn, William Wellington, X Reaper 69, XX Lucky Cat XX, Zibold, Shadow Gardens, Peaceful Buddha. All
all these really great guys, as well as all the folks you see in the description down below, or everybody that you see scrolling across the screen. Hey, I want to say thank you so much for supporting me. Thank you all so much for being here. And as always, sweet dreams.